Summer mornings can feel like absolute chaos. If you're trying to juggle work, keeping the house ticking over, keeping the kids happy, the guilt of the we only get 18 summers with our children, and trying to make it as perfect as possible without losing our tiny little minds. And if you're trying to do all of this in a neurodivergent household, that adds an extra layer of complexity. If, like me, you are attempting to do all of these things during the school summer holidays, I'm going to share with you my morning routine, which allows me to start my mornings in a way that sets the tone for a good day, maximizes productivity, and actually allows me to get some work done while keeping the kids happy, staying reasonably on top of the house, and having some fun with them too. If you're new around here, hi, my name's Rhiannon Morgan. Everyone calls me Rhi. Welcome. It's so nice to have you here. I am a mum of 4 neurodivergent children with autism. I have ADHD. So there's a lot going on in this household. And while I'm not going to pretend, like a lot of people do on the internet, then it's always perfect, because quite frankly, that's just not realistic. This morning routine really sets me up for success in the school holidays. So let me start by saying that in the summer, no 2 days are necessarily the same. Obviously, during school term time, we have a lot more structure imposed upon us. School starts at the same time every day, Monday to Friday. There's very little variation in that. However, in the summer, sometimes we'll have quite a lot planned during the day. Sometimes we won't have much planned during the day. The trick for me is to be flexible and plan for the day ahead that we're going to have, rather than being super rigid. By the way, if you are panicking about school holiday routines, or indeed back to school morning routines, I've got something for you. It's my completely free Calm Start routine guide, and this will take you through the basics of what you need to do in order to take your morning routine from where it is now, where it feels a bit chaotic, to where you'd like it to be, where it feels easier and close to effortless. And you can start the mornings as you'd like to have the rest of your day, with a happy family, without conflict, without stress, without running around like a headless chicken. So if you head to mummyof4.com/routine, you can grab your copy of the Calm Start guide. Also included in that freebie, I have got the school holiday morning routine checklist, as well as school morning routine checklist and weekend routine checklist that your kids can use. My kids use these inside of A4 photo frames, and then they just draw on the photo frames with erasable marker pens like you'd use on a whiteboard, and then those can be wiped off at the end of each week. So that's a really easy way to do it. Or you can just print it off and pop it on a clipboard like I've done here. Anyway, mummyof4.com/routine. Grab those so you can get started with your calmer mornings, because let's face it, is that not what we want? We want calmer mornings. So if I'm honest, my morning routine does not start in the morning. It starts the night before with planning for the next day. And if you're going to take it back a step further than that, I guess my evening planning actually begins on the weekends when I do my weekend reset planning. There is a whole separate video about that. I will link that below so you can check that out later, or up in the cards. But based on what I've planned during my weekend reset, I then look before I go to bed at what we've got on the next day. Like I said, in the summer, sometimes we've got quite jam-packed days. If we're doing a big day out, then we'll be leaving earlier in the morning. And then my morning routine is going to be far more condensed. Whereas on days where perhaps we've got a slower day and more like in the house, playing in the garden kind of day, or we're doing something later in the day, then my morning routine will be a lot more extended. Before I go to bed, I always make sure I've looked at specifically which tasks I want to get done first thing in the morning, because there's nothing more annoying than getting up early in the morning to be productive and then just wandering around wondering what you should be doing, doom scrolling, and just wasting time. Because quite frankly, I'm not here for that. I would rather, if I'm just going to be wasting the time, I'd rather just be in bed asleep. So the only reason to get up before my children is if I'm going to use that time to be productive. And then that to me is a really good use of time. But if not, like I said, you may as well be sleeping in bed. So each night before I go to bed, I head to my Organised Life planner. I do have a planner store if you want to grab a copy of this, either in the printed book version or in the downloads, which is an instant download that you can use to print out or fill in on a tablet, like an iPad with an Apple Pencil, and you can write directly in there. But each day I look at what are going to be my top priorities for the next day. I time block what's going to happen, especially in the mornings, but for the whole day. And I pick out what are going to be my most important priority tasks. I pick up to 3 for each day. A top priority might be, for example, to pack for a trip we're going on, and that would be one big project. And then the to-do list items that go within that project, I would pop here under my to-do today. So if the top priority is pack for a trip, the to-do list items under there might be find all the suitcases, make sure we've got everyone's clothes ready and I've checked them off a list, order some toiletries that are missing, you know, just all those little bitty things are more like tasks than priorities. And then the key thing I like to do for my morning routine is to really block out this morning section, especially before the children get up, because obviously in the school holidays, I don't have any childcare. So the only time I can get work done is pretty much when they're asleep or really occupied and busy. First thing in the morning is ideal for that. And I like to get my erasable highlighters. You don't have to use erasable ones, but for me, things change around so much that I like to use erasable pens and highlighters in my planner, because that way when a different task comes in, I've got to swap something around. I don't have to scribble things out. I can just erase it and then it still looks neat and tidy, and my ADHD brain can still look at it without being like, well, it's too much. I can't look at this. It's a mess. So the evening before, I've picked out the top priorities I'm going to do, especially first thing in the morning. And these will often be work tasks. So things I can do at my computer because I work from home. And obviously this is going to be different if you have more like a traditional job where you physically go to work. But for me, because I work from home, my computer-based work where I need quiet, perhaps I'm editing something, recording a voiceover, then when the kids are asleep, first thing in the morning is a really good time to do that. And by picking out these priorities the night before, when I come down in the morning, I know exactly what I need to be doing. Other things I prepare the night before, I always fill up my massive Stanley cup with, you can hear it gently, ice and water. Don't tell the kids, I do also put some of that peach and raspberry squash in it because it's yummy and then it makes me drink more. But I fill that up, and because this keeps it nice and cold, that's just ready for me to do first thing in the morning. Because ultimately, the more basic tasks I have to do in the morning before I actually get down to getting on with some work, I just feel like all of that time is wasted doing mundane things like filling up my drink. The other thing I do is actually set up my office. So this desk is a sit-stand desk, and I like to use my walking pad with the desk in order to get in some steps while working. I can't tell you how much my walking pads totally transformed my life, actually. I really can't rave about it enough. Before my walking pad, I really struggled to just get enough steps in, to get enough fitness in, because as soon as anything happened, like life happened, for example, one of the kids is ill, the school holidays happen, or I've got a work deadline, or we're going away, so I've got to catch up on work before we leave. All of this stuff would just mean if I had to choose between doing work or exercise. Work, obviously I've got to do, it's my job. Do I do some exercise? Do I do work? Work always had to win. Whereas now I can do both at once. And I get so many people saying, do you actually manage to type and things now? I can't really film. I have filmed clips and vlogs and things. I couldn't film this video while on my walking pad. It would probably be a bit annoying because there'd be noise in the background. But most things I can do, if it's not filming or recording a voiceover, I do pretty much everything. I can even be on Zoom meetings if necessary while on my walking pad. I would pause it if it was my turn to talk, but if I'm just listening, then I can do that while I'm on my walking pad. I can edit, I can type. There's very little I can't do while walking and working at my desk, and it really helps my ADHD brain to concentrate, to not get bored, to not just want to sit there and stuff my face at my desk with snacks that I don't really need. If you are wondering how to fit a bit more fitness into your life and you do have a desk job, I cannot give enough praise to a fold away walking pad. It folds away and goes underneath that little sofa behind my desk. I have one button that I press, it raises my desk up to the right height, pop out my walking pad, and I always do this the night before. I also put out my trainers, which I have indoor trainers that I only use indoors so I don't get muck all over the house, and I actually put the socks into my trainers as well. I've got a little basket of medication with things like supplements and hay fever medication at the moment because it's summer, and if I don't take hay fever medication, my eyes and nose is just streaming down my face. It's not pretty. So all of that I put out the night before so that when I get down in the morning, it is all there ready for me. I do not have to think. We've talked quite a lot already. We've not got to the mornings, but ultimately the preparing for the mornings really, really helps to actually have a smooth morning. If you want to plan out your summer for success, I have got just the thing for you, which is my school summer holiday planner for adults and my super awesome kids summer holiday pack for kids. These are huge printable packs with everything you need to plan your summers for success, looking at everything from routines to childcare to summer bucket lists, collaborating with your children to make summer rules, so everyone knows where they stand, plus loads of printables for your kids to help them have the best summer ever. And I've even got a school summer holiday planning workshop that guides you through all of it. You can sit with me, go through the whole workbook so we can plan out your summer together. All of this can be found inside of my Organised Life Club. which is the perfect place for neurospicy families to get the support they need to go from surviving to absolutely thriving, helping you with everything from routine to getting through autism assessments, staying on top of the house, all the while keeping your sanity. To get your hands on the summer holiday printables, the workshop, plus loads of bonuses like my Organised Life Binder starter pack, my decluttering workbook, and loads more, join me inside of my Organised Life Club. Head to mummyof4.com/join to get all of this and more for just £10 a month. It's an absolute flipping bargain. We also have a monthly planning party where you get specific planning pages for the month ahead, and we plan the month ahead together. We hold each other accountable. Honestly, it's so much fun. I would love to have you in there with me. I have an alarm to wake up, and I have that on my wrist, and that way, by using the alarm on my Apple Watch, it's not waking up my husband and my children, who would then be awake and be disturbing me, and I wouldn't be able to get on with stuff. So that is really helpful to have that alarm that wakes me but doesn't wake them. I have put out my clothes I'm going to change into, which are generally workout clothes. They're going to be on my walking pad. Again, I've put those out in a basket the night before, so I could just grab that and go to the bathroom. I then clean my teeth and do skincare. I've got everything I need right there in the bathroom. So rather than keeping my skincare at my dressing table where I would do my makeup, I have got the stuff I need in the bathroom. So again, I don't have to disturb anyone. I'm not flicking on lights and waking up the whole family. So while I'm cleaning my teeth doing my skincare, I have got one of these little earbuds in. They're like AirPods, but a tenth of the price. And they're pink. They have them in lots of different colours. I've actually got a few sets of these. I've got a set that lives upstairs in my bedroom. I've got a set that just lives down here because they're just really good. And if I've misplaced one, then I've still got another set. So the whole time I'm cleaning my teeth, I'm listening to either an audiobook or a podcast or music that's something uplifting to get me into the right mood. I try and avoid any scrolling in the morning. Try and avoid looking at messages, looking at emails, because as soon as you do that, you're on someone else's agenda. It's not you picking the tone for your day. It's not you picking the mood. It's not you picking what you should be doing. You go from proactive mode into reactive mode as soon as you are listening to the stuff that's just being fed into your face or into your ear holes that is just going to set the tone for your day. It's only going to take going on social media and seeing something upsetting or traumatic or opening an email and thinking, oh, I should be doing that. That's going to send my ADHD brain on a rabbit hole that I should not be going down because I've already made a list of the things I should be doing the night before. And that's really what I need to focus on. While I am listening to a podcast or an audiobook, and yes, that is someone else's words, I purposely curate what I'm going to listen to in the mornings to be something uplifting, something perhaps to do with personal development, or curated song lists. Because I don't even want to be listening to a radio broadcast where they could be putting on sad songs and I want to be in an uplifted mood. So I've either got a curated playlist of music that's uplifting or podcasts or audiobooks that I know are going to put me in the right mood. Once I get downstairs, I head to the living room and do a few minutes of sun salutations. Sometimes I will do full workouts, and I like to use either workouts on YouTube because there are so many amazing ones, especially if I want to do dance workouts. I really love those on YouTube, or strength workouts or Pilates or yoga. Then I tend to use Apple Fitness Plus, which we have, that syncs with my Apple Watch. I can see all the details on screen. I do love that. But often I feel like those workouts are things that I could do later in the day when the kids are up and perhaps they'll join in with me. Whereas this work time, I try and protect that and do that before they get up in the summer specifically, because obviously during term time, then they go to school and I have some quiet time to work then, whereas I really need to utilize as much of the quiet time in the summer before they get up and they come downstairs as possible. I head to my desk and I like to do something called Morning Pages, which is from a book, The Artist's Way. Now, Morning Pages is supposed to be 3 pages of continuous stream of consciousness writing. Now, I have adapted this to use it my own way, because one thing I can't do really while I'm on my walking pad, one thing I do struggle to do is physical handwriting. So I can type great, I can edit, but actual handwriting does look a bit messy when I'm on my walking pad and it doesn't make much sense. So what I've taken to doing is I've got a ChatGPT chat just called Morning Pages, and I open it up and I just talk into it the same as I would write my stream of consciousness writing, and it's literally just whatever's on your mind. It could be utter nonsense, it could be something you've dreamt about, an idea you've had. It's literally 3 pages. So I just do about 5 minutes of talking of stream of consciousness. I just speak it out, because then ChatGPT, it takes it all down. I've told it in that chat that all I want you to do is to take what I'm saying and just write it down, and then just copy and paste it into my notes. Then every now and again, I can ask ChatGPT to summarize any great ideas I've had and tell me what I should be working on. And then when I get to things like my weekend reset and I'm looking at my to-do list for the following week, I can ask ChatGPT if I came up with anything really great in my morning pages, any good ideas that I could do with implementing in the following week. I'm doing doing all of this while walking at my desk. I'm already getting my steps in. I really like to try and get my 10,000 steps in every day. And by doing my morning routine this way, that's quite an easy thing to do. I'm doing on my walking pad around 1,000 steps every 10 minutes. So it's under 2 hours at my desk and I've got my 10,000 steps in. Then I work on whichever work task I picked out and really try to just do that. Now, sometimes my ADHD brain fights me on this and my ADHD brain wants to go and do a whole load of side quests. What I try and do is just think, hey, that's a really great idea, brain, but let's write it here in this brain dump and action it later. Because I think part of the reason my brain wants to go and do these side quests is my brain is afraid that, as often happens, if I don't do something immediately, I will forget it, because the inside of my brain, if you can imagine, if you've ever seen one of my decluttering videos and you've seen that bit where I've tipped everything out and there is chaos and mess everywhere, that's a bit like what the inside of my brain looks like, and it's not much fun. I think my brain is worried that if I don't do these great things and act on these great ideas immediately, then they'll be gone forever. By writing them down in the brain dump section of my planner, fingers crossed, I can action them later. The kids tend to wake up quite slowly compared to when they were littler. And if you have got much younger kids, then please know it's so important to respect the season of life that you're currently in. When I had tiny breastfed babies, I was barely sleeping through the night. I could not get up crazy early in the morning to work before they got up. It just wasn't something that was going to work for me. If you have got much smaller children, if you've got children that are not sleeping at all through the night, or if you've got children that need attention the minute they wake up, because my kids now are that little bit older, my youngest is now 8. When they wake up in the morning, they're quite happy chilling in their rooms for a little bit. They've got things they can work on. Often the girls are drawing or making bracelets. Will's quite happy doing his own thing. He's a teenager. So I'm very much at a season of life where I do not have to drop everything the second I hear them stirring on the baby monitor. And trust me, I've been there. And if you are there, I understand that that's different. So I think it's just really important to note that, because I can remember looking at advice when I was in that season of life and thinking, how am I ever going to do this? Am I ever going to make this work for me? And the answer is sometimes you just can't. But these seasons are not forever and there's too short paths. The kids now, as they're waking up, aren't necessarily needing my attention the moment they wake up. They can come downstairs independently and find me. When they do come down for breakfast, then I will stop working and sit and have breakfast with them. Now, I like the kitchen to be nice and clean and tidy. Another thing that we do to set up our morning success is make sure that after dinner, we all clear away and we reset the kitchen, because there's nothing more grim than coming down to a gross kitchen. It really starts my day in the wrong mood and I'm just not here for it. So we all have breakfast together and then clear up breakfast together. If we're going to do a little workout, then often we'll do it together when I'm already in my workout gear. The kids are perhaps still in their PJs, but often we'll do a workout together then before they go and get dressed. And then it's get dressed and sun cream. The Sultan one is the one that we tend to use because it's 8 hour. I like the protect and swim one because even if they're in the paddling pool in the garden, I think it's 8 hours sun protection. Unless they get wet, then it's just 3 hours sun protection. But if we put that on in the morning, then wherever we're going to go out in the sun, they've got coverage for a good few hours. And I just keep a little roll on top up one with us wherever we go. And then if I've not quite got enough work done and we're not heading off out again early, they will have a bit of free time to just chill and do whatever they want in that morning block, because my brain seems to be fresher in the mornings. Very much eat that frog mentality, get the big bulky tasks over and done with first thing in the morning, and then there's more time to chill. I always make sure that I've put on a load of laundry the night before, so in the mornings I will then take that laundry out, swap it around, put some on to dry, and then sort out any washing that needs giving to various children. We have a system where there is a box for each member of the family and all the stuff gets sorted into there. So I give the kids any laundry that they have to go and put away. And then before we do head out for the day, I'll just ask them to make sure that their rooms are reasonably tidy. They've put away any laundry that they've been given. And then I can kind of guilt-free go and spend fun time with my kids because we've done a bit of tidying up. We've done a little bit of laundry. Before we head out, if there's any like vacuuming or anything to do, we'll do a little bit of that. I've done a large chunk of my work tasks before they even get up, and then a little bit more if there's time after they get up. And I find that this system really helps me to be super productive. Plus also spend quality time with my children, because if I don't, then I'm just feeling really guilty that I haven't got enough work done, but also really guilty I'm not spending enough time with the children. So I just feel like I'm failing every which way. I find this morning routine helps me to work with my ADHD and not against it. If I've got things planned out the night before, I know exactly what I should be doing. I'm not wasting loads of time and then beating myself up because I got up early and achieved nothing. I've got a place to brain dump my side quests. and my walking pad to keep me on track with being that bit more productive and also getting my steps in at the same time. There are very few places in life that multitasking is a real thing, but trust me, walking pad at the desk is one of those rare areas where multitasking actually works. Once my morning routine is done, if we haven't got anything specific planned, the kids can go through some of their summer holiday bucket lists where we've listed out ideas of things they can do, fun days out, rainy day games, so they are never short of something to do and complaining that they're bored. And all of those printables can be found within the Organised Life Club. Do let me know down in the comments, what does your morning routine look like? Does it vary a lot in the summer? Do you struggle more with morning routines in the summer or school holidays? Let me know in the comments. It's really great to hear everyone's experiences and we can all help and learn from each other. So the school summer holiday routine is quite different to the back to school morning routine, which obviously has to be a lot more rigid. And if you click on the video on screen now, you can learn all about the back to school routine and also the weekend reset, which is really, really important and sets me up for success for each school morning. Join me inside of the Organised Life Club. I will love to have you as a member and I'll see you in there. Bye.